published 1257 est, the 19th of November 2017, updated 1942 est, the 19th of November 2017. Welcome to West Ham, David Moyes, and the dubious thrill of another relegation battle with a poor team, devoid of confidence and with revolt spreading at a perilous rate through the club's fan base. If he dared to hope anything would be easier than the basket case he inherited at Sunderland last season, Moyes might have to think again after starting his new job in dismal fashion at Watford. Goals by Will Hughes and Richarlison condemned West Ham to the 7th defeat in a dozen Premier League games, leaving them locked inside the bottom three, but there was so much more by way of despair for the new boss. Will Hughes scored his first Premier League goal for Watford by sweeping in a loose ball after West Ham United failed to clear Andre Gray's mishit. Shot bounced favourably for midfielder Hughes, who slammed past helpless goalkeeper Joe Hart. Richarlison fired home midway through second half with a strong run and good finish. Although Hart could have done better, his team were wasteful in front of goal and fragile at the back, and the pedestrian pace was brutally exposed by Watford's quick-minded midfielders, slick passing and the power of Richarlison. Andy Carroll, who should be West Ham's greatest asset, showed further signs of becoming a total liability, and, off the pitch, the mood is turning toxic. Fans in the away end at Vicarage Road vented their anger. The board turned on Carroll and sang with gallows humour about the prospect of a London derby with Millwall in the Championship next season. There was no personal anti-Moyes abuse, but nor was there a warm welcome for the man chosen to succeed Slaven Bilican, who was taking charge of his 500th game as a top-flight manager. It made for a surreal occasion because there was a notable lack of affection from home fans towards Marco Silva, despite Watford's desire, energy and deserved win, which lifts them up to 8th. Hughes is mobbed by his teammates after giving the hosts the lead after 11 minutes at Vicarage Road in Sunday's kick-off. Richarlison was a live wire all afternoon for Watford and deserved his goal, which came after a fine individual dribble. The Brazilian, signed from Fluminense in the summer, has made an immediate impact for Watford. This was his 5th goal. Watford goalkeeper Aurelio Gomes celebrates after his fellow Brazilian scored Watford's crucial second goal of the day. Silva is wanted by Everton, who displayed no interest in him when he was on his way out of Hull City in the summer, but, 6 months later, are ready to move heaven and earth and pay £10 million to get their hands on him. Silva, it appears, would like the chance to leave, and who can blame him? Watford's sacking culture under Gino Pozzo means they hardly represent a secure future for any manager. And, as always, a giant banner in honor of the Italian owner unfurled before kick-off, just in case there was any doubt about where the real power lies at Vicarage Road. The only question was whether the team had been unsettled by Everton's intrusion into their affairs. The answer was soon clear as they moved into an early lead when Hughes pounced on a miscued effort by Andre Gray and claimed his first goal since a transfer from Derby in the summer. West Ham manager David Moyes took charge of his 500th Premier League game and his first with the Hammers. Watford boss Marco Silva was in charge amid increasing speculation linking him with the Everton job in previous weeks. Just 6 seconds into the game, Andy Carroll caught Marvin Ziegler with his elbow, forcing a lengthy stoppage in play. Ziegler, making his Watford League debut after a £3 million summer move, needed treatment and resumed with a bloody nose. Until then, the encounter had been unruly and disjointed, with Carroll making life uncomfortable for Watford's defenders. Dutch wingback Marvin Ziegler made his club debut with cotton wool plugs in his nostrils after an aerial challenge with West Ham centre-forward in the opening 10 seconds. Whether it was a foul or not, it was a dumb move by Carroll, starting his first game since a red card at Burnley, and immediately turned his physical style into an issue for referee Andre Mariner. Each moment of contact was exaggerated by opponents and the home crowd. Mariner booked him in the first half and Carroll lacked control, which did nothing to help his team establish a grip on the contest. Another player to pick up a nasty injury was Marko Arnautovic, who was in obvious distress after hurting his arm and hand. Ironically, it was Ziegler who stood on Arnautovic accidentally, with the forward having to be subbed off after treatment. Carroll was also at the centre of an incident when he pushed Hornets midfielder Richarlison in the back after a challenge. Despite the protests from the crowd, Carroll was only booked by referee Andre Mariner for his petulant behaviour. Watford, in contrast, zipped the ball fluently. Hughes and Tom Cleverley were influential in midfield, and Richarlison caused havoc whenever he picked up the ball and ran at West Ham. Joe Hart denied the young Brazilian in the first half and produced a fine save from Adrian Mariappa before conceding the second. Richarlison collected a pass from Hughes, breezed past Winston Reid and drove it low past Hart to effectively secure the points. West Ham, having taken more than half an hour to stir as an attacking force, could not find a way to beat Hurelo Gomez. With the score at 10, Gomez foiled Kekauka and then produced a double save to frustrate Marko Arnautovic, beating out his header and then blocking his follow-up attempt with a boot. At the end of the first half, Watford were indebted to captain and keeper Gomez for making 3 crucial saves. Gomez saved from close range against Chako Uyate, then made a stunning double stop from Arnautovic, having made one athletic diving save with his hand. Gomez then denied the Austrian with his leg before claiming the third ball. Hart also pulled out a top-draw save of his own after the break, stopping Adrian Mariappa's header only handed on the line. Watford striker Gray has a shot blocked by the massed ranks of West Ham defenders in the second half of the game. Abdoulaye Doucouré in action with Angelo Ogbonna as the midfielder and centre-back battle hard for possession. West Ham captain Mark Noble keeps tabs on Hughes, however he could not help his side to a first win under the new manager. Early in the second half, Arnautovic created a glorious opening for Uyate, only to see the midfielder arrive in the penalty box and inexplicably miss the target with a simple side-footer from 10 yards. Adding to the general feeling of mayhem, Arnautovic was substituted after suffering what was clearly a very painful thumb injury, but while shouting at Moyes to let him continue. Christian Cabasely produced a terrific goal-line clearance from Manuel Lanzini, but by then, Richarlison had made it 20 and the away fans were well into the repertoire of protestes. "Sack the board," they chorused and hurled abuse at co-owners David Gold and David Sullivan and Vice-Chair Karen Brady. They sang "You're not fit to wear the shirt" and taunted Carroll in reference to his comments about their loyalty after the defeat against Liverpool, and they put them down the tunnel at the final whistle. Welcome back to the touchline, David Moyes. Have you missed it?